Other things. Now here's the terror word, because we have a couple terror words at our office that, because we have a lot of California investors, and we don't like the word mold and we don't like the word asbestos because you guys hate those words. But and then lead paint is the third one. Any house built before 1976 has lead paint in it. How do I know that? All paint had lead in it. But what you have to do is properly abate it. What I didn't know, and I learned 5 years ago, is all shellac on all that beautiful wood framing also has lead in it. Do you know how I learned that? I had a 2-year-old child that had an elevated lead level. And we had replaced, how does lead become dangerous to a child? They chew on window seals, so they break the seal of the paint, or there's what they call friction surfaces. Friction surfaces are windows or doors, something that causes there to be movement there. And what I didn't recognize was all those beautiful historic homes that I love to rehab have lead in the shellac. So now not only are we covering up the paint, which is what's required to properly abate lead paint, and washing it and scrubbing it and making sure there's no peeling, replacing windows to make sure there's no friction surfaces, but if it's a wood door or wood trim, we're then covering it with polyurethane so that it's not able to break off and cause lead poisoning. In some of my nicest historic homes that I didn't want to do that to, we don't allow children in the properties, and that we're allowed to discriminate because of the possibility of lead poisoning. But how many of you would like to do a lead test to find out if there's lead in your home?
Certainly no.
No, because not everyone understands that lead paint is easily abated. Again, the best way to abate it, scrub it down, put a coat of paint on it. You have done what the U.S. environmental departments say is the best way to abate lead. But if you do a test and you find that there's lead paint there, even after you abate it, you must disclose it. And then you must disclose it to the seller, and the seller has to disclose it, and the property then has kind of a bad reputation because not everyone understands the simplest way to abate lead is to paint over it. So you give your property a stigma. So when you're thinking about a home that was built before 1978, you need to make sure that it's properly prepared, but don't do a test. Never ever test for lead. Make sense?